Hello and welcome to another episode of Soul and Screen. In this particular video, I will be continuing the conversation in regards to the TV show Tyler Perry's Sistas, along the storyline or topic of soul ties within the characters, the storylines, and the different dynamics and situations that are going on in this particular series. The first, to pick up this video, we're going to continue the conversation, which is about Zac Fatima and the Karen situationship. For those who know the show, for those who don't, you can go back and listen to the other episodes to give you a little bit of more background, or you can just pick up from here. So let's get into it. So I left off with Danny consoling Karen after Zac tells her that he doesn't want to be with her. Karen, of course, still not wanting to hear what Zac said, is like still under the operation of this, the influence of this soul tie, not wanting to hear what Zac is saying when he's plainly saying it. This is now officially the third time, technically the third time that he said that. The first time was in the salon with just them two. The second time was in the salon with them two when he came back to give her the rest of the money, and they both agree that they should, part ways. And then now Danny's house is the third. So she consoles Karen, and basically Karen leaves and she goes to meet up with Aaron. She basically tells Aaron what happened and that Zac, he won't say it. He won't tell me that he don't love me. He don't want to be with me anymore. And Aaron tries to throw in some male perspective and was like, well, I don't know if he'll ever be able to say that. Like, you guys have been in a relationship on and off for 3 years. So he probably will never be able to say that to you. And she's like, well, I don't want him to. And this is just something that I need him to say. I don't think it's too big. It's a big deal for him to say what I need him to say. And so, and she goes, and mean it. And he goes, well, what do you mean? And so she's like, well, he said it, but he didn't mean it. I know him. And she continues to tell everybody that she knows him because she's expecting him to come back to her. So on the other side of town, you see Zac and Fatima, who had just had another argument because of a mix-up, that instead of Zac asking Fatima about it, he just kind of got into his emotions because he's triggered, because he's still kind of working through Fatima's not Karen, you know what I mean? So he blew up. He got into his emotions about something. It was definitely a misunderstanding, and he blew up on Fatima, and they end up making up and getting back together. They have sex and everything, and she was getting ready to leave, and he's like, where are you going? And she's like, I gotta go. And he's like, what are you talking about? You gotta go. And then she's like, oh my goodness. And it hits her. She's actually in love with this man, and she didn't, she was trying her hardest not to fall in love with him, but she did. And so she tells him. And then they have this conversation. She's like, what bothers me is that you couldn't go to her house. And he's trying to explain to her that that wasn't about me. That was about her. I'm really, I don't want to trigger her, basically. He's really trying to be a good dude about this breakup with him and Karen. He's not taking Fatima or anybody around. He just wants to be done with her. And so he told Fatima that. And so she accepts his answer. They end up, having sex again. And then you get to the next morning. Fatima and Andy are at work, and they just having a discussion. And they talking about, Gary and all this kind of stuff. And then Fatima finally tells Andy that her and Zac basically are good, and that he told me that he loved me. He told me that he loved me and he only wants to be with me. And I told him I loved him too. And so she's basically trying to get her thoughts. What do you think I should do? You've known him, because she's trying not to get hurt, but she's in love with this man at this point. So she's really just trying to figure out, from Andy's perspective of knowing everything that's going on, what do you think? So Andy basically tells her, Fatima, real talk, you a grown woman, but if you really gonna do this love thing, you have to give it a try. So she basically tells Fatima to go for it with Zac. And in the midst of it, of her telling Fatima to go for it with Zac, Karen walks in and she overhears what what Andy just told Fatima. And so she's like, it's good for them. Like they should be together, hun. Is that what it is? So she has this attitude with Andy immediately. And so she's like, Andy is like, oh, Karen, you didn't hear the whole conversation. And she's like, no, I heard what you said. They should be together. And so Fatima, seeing that things between them look like it's getting heated, she decides to stand up and she's like, I'm going to go ahead and excuse myself because I'll let y'all talk kind of a thing. And then Karen has this attitude with her and she's like, no, you can stay. And then Fatima's like, well, Karen, like, and she's like, I wouldn't say my name like that. And she's like, well, I think it's best for me to leave because this don't have nothing to do with me. And she was like, who do you think it's about then? And so Andy is like, you guys don't do this. And so Fatima's like, you know what, like, Karen, I'm done with this. You know what I mean? Enough is enough. And so she basically tells Andy, close the door. And she tells Karen, like, listen, Karen, so real talk, like, I know you and Zac ain't together, okay? So I'm tired of kind of telling you that I didn't know that you guys were exes before, but I do know that y'all not together right now. And, I don't really know what else to tell you, but enough is enough. Like, I'm really kind of tired of talking about this with you. And, Karen kind of gets this attitude and she's like, nah, we not together. And so she's like, so I would never do anything to intentionally hurt you, but this is where we are. And, I'm not about to break up with him because he been a good dude to me. So I'm good. So this is where we are. Let's try to get past whatever it is that's, coming, trying to have a womanly, an adult conversation with Karen. But Karen, again, under the influence of this soul tie and want what she wants, even though she just got told the night before that Zac, he told her, I don't want you. Now is trying to start this whole argument with Fatima. And so she calls her out her name. She told Andy, you all up on this B. And so Fatima's like, hold up. Like, I understand that you upset and everything, but I'm not about to be another B. And so they started arguing, going back and forth. And Fatima like stood 2 toes down. Like, I'm not about to be another B and you tripping and everything. Now I'm put a pin here because I absolutely would have had Fatima go a little bit deeper in because no shade to the writers, hear me say this, but they have Fatima a little toned down because I absolutely would have told her, girl, I know you was not coming at me sideways for some man who don't want you. Like, he's been running away from you ever since y'all found out, you found out that me and him was together. Like, he don't want you. Like, I don't understand what else need to be said, but what you not about to do is come at me sideways. That's just me. But anyway, let's pick it up from where it actually left off on is eventually Andy gets Fatima to go to her office, and her and Karen are in there arguing in the break room. She's like, what the F are you doing? And Andy's like, you just came to my job and here's another pin. Like, again, being under the influence of a soul tie and, just got her jacked. She's not caring about what anybody else wants. She's not caring about anybody else. Andy just got her job back and just got out from being side-eyed from all the partners at her job for some FBI investigation due to Gary. Now, you come up here and you start an altercation, a verbal altercation at my job with me and with my employee. Now, that could have gotten Andy fired. Andy could have been in real trouble with that because if Fatima would have went to HR to tell her that her boss's best friend just came and verbally assaulted her and cussed her out and started this thing, then Andy could have been in trouble. And then Karen actually could have possibly went to jail too because you came to her job and did this. You don't get to just do that. So it has, that's what I'm saying. Like, these is not like kids. These are like 34, 35-year-old women, and y'all are not like stupid. You can't go to somebody's job and going off on somebody over some man who don't want you. Like, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, this soul tie is strong. Like, it has her looking through these glasses. I don't know, that's just not clear. She's not seeing reason. She's not hearing reason. Why? Because she wants what she wants. So anyway, Fatima goes and she calls Zac and tells Zac what's going on, and Zac is heated and she's like, it's okay, I just wanted you to know what's going on. I don't really need you to go over there. Do not go over there. Like, just let it go. Hopefully, she'll get over it. And so he's like, I'm really ticked right now. She's like, just please leave it alone. So she gets off the phone with him. Andy comes in and apologizes to Fatima and asks her if she's okay. And she's like, listen, Karen just needs some time, and, and she'll be fine. And I'm going to put another pin here. I'm going to be real honest. Your friend just came up and went off on me about my man. Like, I could care less if she fine. It'd be great if she is. But at this point, that is no longer my care. Like, I could care less about that. Cause she's proven to, she's just doing some sideways stuff. Like, I've tried to be nice to her over and over again, and I'm not going to continue to do that. That's the way Tiffany would have did it. So Fatima already got way more, patience than me. Let's put it that way. So anyway, fast forward a little further into the episode, Zac goes over to Karen and he confronts her, and he's like, what the F? You just went off on Fatima. And she's like, well, don't be acting like you ain't never popped up on me before. And he's like, what is the problem? Like, we have had this discussion. I told you over and over again that we done. And she's like, are we? And he was like, yeah. She was like, so tell me. He was like, Karen, I just told you. Like, I told you that I loved you, but we not good for each other, so we can't be together. And she's like, I can't believe you being this mean to me. You ain't never been this mean to me. We've always gotten back together. And he's like, not this time. I don't know what else to say. Like, not this time. And so she's like, well, it ain't over for me and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to tell you. It's over for me, and I'm appreciative if you leave Fatima out of it. She ain't got nothing to do with me and you. And before he gets ready to walk out, she goes, Zac, I'm pregnant. And so, again, for those who may not have heard me say it, I believe Karen trapped Zac. You know what I'm saying? So, she at this point, she tells him that she's pregnant, but she has not taken a pregnancy test. He asked her, have you taken the test? She's like, no. He's like, is it mine? And she's like, don't you ask me that no more. And he's like, well, is it? You trying to act like you didn't sleep with Aaron? And she's like, once. I only slept with him once. Guess how many times it takes for you to get pregnant, boo? So anyway, she gets pregnant, and she's telling him that to manipulate him. She's hoping that, since you won't just come back to me on your own, like we normally do, like I just told you, we always get back together, and now you're not doing it. So let me just go ahead and tell you that I'm pregnant without any evidence. And so he goes and gets a pregnancy test, and he comes back. And so she tells him, what we going to do and everything. And he's like, just take the test. And so she took the test. Turns out that she is pregnant, and she's like, what are we going to do? And he was like, it's on you. And she's like, it's on me. Like, she got this attitude because he's not like, going into it and like happy about it, because when she said it, he was like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then he goes, man, like Fatima, like what is this going to do to Fatima? And Karen's look on her face is like shocked, because she like, no, you didn't just say this chick name in front of my face, and I just told you that I'm pregnant, because she wanted him to be happy, and he's not. So anyway, he basically tells her, she's like, you need to decide what you're going to do. And she's like, oh, so you think I should get an abortion? And he's like, I didn't say that. All I'm saying is you need to do what you've been doing, which is doing what you want to do. So continue to do that. And she's like, well, I'm going to do what's right for this baby. And so he was like, what does that mean? And all that kind of stuff. And so she goes, well, like I said, I don't have no choice. And so he tells her, so I tell you what, whatever you decide, just understand, me and you ain't going to be together. So if you want to have this baby, then it ain't nothing I can do about it, because it is your body. But no, we're not going to be together. And then let me know what role you want me to play in it. And so she's like, what you mean role? And he's like, well, just like I said, whether that's being around and being a father, helping raise them, or you just need some money, like tell me what. So she's all heated, and he's like, I'm going to go. And she's like, yeah, go, because you pissing me off. And he's like, what am I pissing you off for, right? You know what I'm saying? And so he leaves, and he tells Fatima, he goes to Fatima immediately and tells her that Karen's pregnant. And she asks all the right questions, of course, like, are you sure that she's pregnant? Is it yours? Are you sure it's yours? And he's like, well, she's only been with Aaron, and they ain't been with each other that long. And so Fatima is kind of like, well, I tell you what, like, we just gonna have to see, but I do have to think about, how this affects me too. And so, so they kind of leave it at that. And that is pretty much the end of that particular video or review of this video review. But again, just to kind of talk about the effects of a soul tie, the way that Karen totally could care less about her friend's job, about her possibly going to jail, And then even Fatima's feelings, or Zac, just she wants what she wants. Fatima is an innocent bystander in all of this. Fatima had no idea that Zac and Karen were dating or had broken up, and that Zac, the guy who approached her and started pursuing her, was dating Karen. Also, her and Karen have not been friends long, so there is really no obligation for her to back off off of Zac just because I know of you. Although she did try to back up off of her out of respect for Andy, I believe. But at this point, Fatima, she really liked Zac, and Zac also really liked Fatima. So he continued to pursue. So what do you expect her to do when this man is pursuing her and in a way that she's good with? So with that being said, Fatima didn't deserve any of that altercation, that confrontation, the going off, being called out her name, none of it. And a lot of people, kind of was going on with it's her hormones. And no, it's not. Like, Karen has always been a really mean character, and you can hear that in some of the other episodes because all the girls kind of like, well, Karen, and you know how she act and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm pretty sure the hormones probably magnified things, but that's not the reason why she was doing it. She just wants what she wants. And since nobody is doing what she's saying that she wants them to do, like, everybody tends to bend to Karen's will. And if you don't, then she throws an adult temper tantrum. And that's basically, again, another effect of a soul tie. So she's trying to manipulate everybody to do what she wants to do, to get them to say what she wants to say, also that she can have what she wants to have, at the expense of everybody else's happiness. Because Zac is fine. He's happy with being with Fatima. Fatima is good. But, damn, they happiness, because I want Zac back and he needs to come back here with me, and I'm having his baby and all this kind of stuff. And again, like I said, her not having any proof that the baby that she's carrying is Zac's, but she told him that. She never explained to Zac that her and Aaron had sex as well after her and Zac did, like within a week. She never told him that. And so that's like, manipulating things. That's like a lie of omission. She left something out. Why? Because she wants Zac to come back and believe that it's his. If he believes that it could be somebody else's, then he ain't gonna come back. But if he believes that it's his, she thinks that will get him back here. And of course, we know that didn't work. But anyway, that's kind of how we're going to end this particular video. I will pick up the next video. It will basically be going into season 4 and her actions within season 4 of Tyler Perry's Sistas, and again, just continuing to see the effects of a soul tie, of a toxic soul tie, negative soul tie, demonic soul tie, however you want to frame it and term it, within relationships. And again, knowing that art imitates life. This may not be something that you see to be your life or realistic, but trust me, it is somebody's life. And I would definitely tell people who say, like, this is not my life and I wouldn't do that, then I honestly, truly think you should bless the Lord, because unfortunately there are people who are caught up in these type of cycles and don't know how to get out or don't want to get out. And, that whole misery loves company thing, like it's happened. It's because of the soul tie. It's because if I'm not going to be happy, you're not going to be happy type of thing. We deserve each other type of thing. So in any event, hopefully you are enjoying these reviews. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you are, and join the conversation. Tell me if you are seeing these effects of the soul ties, if it's becoming clear in my explanations. If not, if I can say it a little differently, just give me some suggestions. I'm definitely open. But thank you so much, and I'll see you next video. Bye.